Your name is very important. When you think of yourself, you probably think of your name first. It is an important part of your identity. Right now, the two most popular names for babies in the United States are Jacob for boys and Emma for girls. Names can become popular because of famous actors, TV or book characters, or athletes. Popular names suggest very positive things. Unpopular names suggest negative things. Surprisingly, people generally agree on the way they feel about names. So, why do parents give their children unpopular names? One reason is tradition. Many people are named after a family member. Of course, opinions can change over time. A name that is unpopular now may become popular in the future. The Yanomami is a local tribe living near the Amazon River and Venezuela and Brazil. They live in the tropical forest far away from other people. Before outsiders first visited them, they knew nothing about other people in South America, about the government, or about modern life. They didn't know that they lived in Brazil or Venezuela. They lived in their own world. The Yanomami are hunters and farmers. They are also deeply religious. For them, the natural world and spiritual world are one. During the 1980s, the Yanomami suffered enormously when up to 40,000 Brazilian gold miners invaded their land. The miners shot them, destroyed many villages, and exposed them to diseases to which they had no immunity. 20% of the Yanomami died in just 7 years. In 1992, Brazil and Venezuela made the Yanomami land into a park. Unfortunately, it was difficult to keep miners out of the Yanomami land. In 1993, some gold miners tried to destroy a Yanomami village and they killed 16 people.
Frogs have long back legs and short bodies. They do not have tails. Most of the time, frogs move in the water, but they can also move on land. Their skin is smooth. Young frogs breathe through their skin. Their skin must stay wet so they can breathe through it. Older frogs breathe through their lungs when they are on land. Frogs lay their eggs in water. They must move fast to catch something to eat and to get away from bigger animals. Some frogs have webs of skin between their toes. Webbed toes help them to swim very fast. Tree frogs live in very tall trees. They can jump from tree to tree. They can't fly, but they can stay in the air for a long jump. Most people avoid eating dangerous foods. They don't want to get sick. However, there is one food that can be deadly, but some people eat it on purpose. It's called the pufferfish. This kind of fish, called fugu in Japanese, lives in the Pacific Ocean. Some people die every year from eating fugu. In fact, the Emperor of Japan is not allowed to touch it. Why? Well, the insides of the pufferfish are very poisonous. They contain a poison 275 times more powerful than the deadly poison cyanide. Usually, nothing bad happens when fugu is on a restaurant's menu. Customers feel great after the meal. That's because chefs are trained to remove the insides of the pufferfish before they give it to customers. If they miss even a small amount, the fish is not safe to eat. Pufferfish is very expensive. A plate of fugu costs more than $200 in some restaurants in Tokyo. Besides being dangerous to eat, the fish is very ugly, with spines all over its body. Also, it can puff or blow itself up to double its normal size. Why do Japanese people risk so much for such an ugly and dangerous fish? Well, some people like taking risks, and fugu tastes wonderful. Between the months of November and May, wind blows from the west in most parts of Indonesia. It comes from the ocean and carries rain. Clouds build up around the mountains, and every afternoon rain falls. The rain is always heavy, and the rivers, which you can walk easily in the dry season, now become dangerous to cross. When it rains the whole day, it causes great damage to the land. Most farmers are glad when the wet season begins. There is water for their fields, and they can again start growing rice. But people in town are not so glad because the streets get muddy and dirty. They prefer the dry seasons to sit outside and enjoy the cool evenings.